Congratulations, everyone. The Monon Center has been rated as a National Gold Medal winner for community centers around the United States. Every lifeguard should feel very proud and accomplished, as we've all played an important role in achieving this. In order to keep this prestigious status, we have to continue to put the safety of our patrons first and continue striving for greatness. Today is our February lifeguard training in-service, and we are going to cover 4 main topics. These 4 topics are going to be new protocol here at the Monon Center, making sure all rules are still enforced, an update on some serious codes that we've had in the past couple weeks, and a uniform reminder. Our first topic of business is going to be new protocol here at the Monon Center. Mermaid tails will no longer be allowed at any pool here at the Monon Center or the outdoor water park. They are restrictive, and if someone becomes in trouble, they will not be able to quickly get out of the tail. Parents may fight this, saying that their child is a strong swimmer, has been swimming for years, or passed a swimming test at their neighborhood pool, but the policy needs to remain consistently enforced for any ability of swimmer. As an FYI, we might have a lot of kickback from some parents, as we have allowed the mermaid tails in the past, but after doing a lot of research on them, we have come to the conclusion that it's not safe for anybody to wear. If they fight this, just let them know that it's unsafe. If something happens to the child, they can't get out of the tail. If the parent isn't around, they can't get them out of the water. It leads to an immediate rescue, and if the pool is crowded, it can just be a very, very big scene that we need to avoid. It's for the best interest of everybody. That wraps up our first point of new policies here at the Monon Center. Let's move on to making sure that all the rules are enforced. We'll go over this at almost every single in-service, but one rule that needs to always be enforced and sometimes isn't is the height requirements for the slides. The requirement is 48 inches for all of the slides. We've had numerous issues of parents being upset that their kids could go down with one lifeguard, and then as soon as the lifeguard on break comes out, they get measured and they're not allowed to go down the slide anymore. Measure every kid if needed, but make sure you check. Even if the child is 1 or 2 inches short of being allowed to go down, you still need to tell them no and make sure that they go down the stairs and not the slide. I'm going to say, if we keep having a problem with this, I'm going to make sure that every single child is measured, and I will write you guys up if you aren't. We just can't be having this inconsistent rule with discretion of the lifeguard. It makes everybody on the staff look bad. Parents get very upset over this if their child can go down one day and can't go down the next day. I know a lot of parents fight this, saying that their kid can swim even if they are under the height requirement, but just remind them that this height requirement is not made by our pool, but rather the manufacturer of the slide, and it is a very big hazard if they go down and they're not tall enough, regardless of if they can swim or not. It's important because if they are too small, they might be too light, and then they'll be flying through the slide and they can hit their head when they come out. It's just very dangerous. So remind them that it's not a swimming ability rule, but more so the size of the child by the manufacturer can make this dangerous. If they still fight you on this, come find a top guard or myself, and we can speak with the parent one-on-one. Another rule that you guys need to make sure you put in place, you make sure you're enforcing, is that parents are not throwing their kids in the water or having the child jump off of their shoulders into the water. This is a very dangerous thing. It's not necessarily a written down rule on our rules, but it goes under the category of unsafe behavior. Remember that the category of unsafe behavior comes down to the discretion of the guard that's on duty. So if you find something that you think is unsafe, blow your whistle, find myself, find a top guard, and we'll make sure that behavior doesn't happen. This rule in specific, this scenario in specific, the parents throwing the kids and the child jumping off the parent's shoulder is very dangerous, because if they're in shallow water, the child may land weirdly on their legs or maybe hit their head on the shallow end. They might land on another patron, another child, and hurt them. They might hit the wall. There's a lot of different things that can happen. It's just not safe overall. We've had a dad and a child come in a few times, and he always does this. I've talked to him one-on-one. He's fought me a little bit, but I think they get it, as the last time they were in, they did follow the rules. So just make sure that you're enforcing it. If you're not comfortable with this, find me or myself. And also, if you see any behavior that makes you nervous that an injury might result from it, you can always say no. It's an unwritten rule that you have. It's up to your discretion, so always blow your whistle if it makes you nervous. So always make sure you're covering the unsafe behavior and enforcing rules that you think are dangerous. Moving on from that, we're going to talk about a couple code reds that we've had here in the last couple weeks. Just a reminder, the code red is when the ambulance does come, and so it's never a good sign, but unfortunately it happens at every single pool. I'm proud to say that we've handled every code red very well, but we need to continue to make sure that anytime there's a code red, that every guard on duty is aware and is responding promptly and correctly. So in the past couple weeks, we've had two. Just as a reminder, if you're the guard that's on break, you are the first responder every time. Listen carefully to the radio. Make sure you always have your radio on you and that it's turned up loud enough so that you can hear anything that goes on. You can leave it on the bench or the desk if you're in the break room, but if you're going to the bathroom, please take it with you. Also, if you're in the bathroom or if you're in the break room and you do hear code red called, reply immediately and acknowledge that you've heard the message, and then grab the trauma bag and the red clipboard and dash out to the specified area on the radio. Also, take the radio and radio to the west desk and make sure that they've called the ambulance and they are aware that there is a code red. Sometimes they don't hear the first lifeguard say it, so it is always important to communicate it on your way over, on your way over to the on the way over to the scene. So always confirm that you're on your way. That wraps up how to deal with code reds. Always have your radio on you and always be listening, and then reply attentively and promptly when something does come up. Moving on to our last topic of the day, I'm going to remind you guys of the uniforms. Make sure when you're working you are in the correct uniform. Our CCPR red lifeguard shirt, Navy trunks or Navy swim trunks for males, and then for females be wearing your swimsuit. Whistle and fanny packs stocked with the mask, gloves, and everything else you need on stand. And you have either flip-flops or no shoes at all. Closed-toe shoes are not good for if you have to dive in the water, you can't swim. I know it's the winter months and it's the indoor pool, and sometimes women want to wear yoga pants or the guys want to wear sweatpants. Please refrain from wearing this, as it is very restrictive if you do have to get into the water. Always have your guard tube strap across your chest with the slack gathered in your hand. If you ever need a great example, look at Sonny. He's always got the right uniform on and is always scanning the pool like excellent postures. So just always watch him if you need to see what an example looks like. In conclusion, the four main topics that we talked about today are the new protocol that the mermaid tails are not allowed due to safety concerns. Make sure you're enforcing all the safety rules and using your discretion to make sure no unsafe behavior is happening at the top of the slides. Always be on the watch, scanning for potential code red, and a uniform reminder. Congratulations again on the great work, and keep it up. Thanks, guards.